What's going on, sports family, sports nation? We are back on Rooted in Sports. Man, this thing is up pretty high. We are back on Rooted in Sports live Thursdays. Today will really just be a pretty quick message. Well, first of all, I want to apologize for last week. Some technical difficulties. One of them being I was out of town. San Francisco was my 31st birthday. So I want to formally thank everybody that made my birthday special. Really good time. I was gone from Thursday, came back Sunday night. Spent a whole lot of money, ate good, drank a lot. So a lot of fun on that end. But as far as technical difficulties go, we've been undergoing a lot of different changes, just trying to figure out how we can make Rooted in Sports better for you guys, right? So we are doing a lot of brainstorming. We are looking at equipment upgrades and things of that nature, and upcoming events, and really how we can schedule and how we can structure these things. So I would say for you guys, all the fans, I want to thank everybody for being patient with us. But look forward to some polls, some polls and some questions, because the truth is sure, we have our own ideas as sports guys, as content creators, but the truth is you guys are the consumers. So we will be throwing some polls out there, asking some questions, and we really want feedback of what you guys want to see. What are some things you guys want to see for Rooted in Sports moving forward? So that's currently what we've been working on. So just be patient. We're still halfway through 2023, and we got a lot of good sports stuff coming up. We want to make sure that we make the necessary changes and the necessary upgrades, obviously, before essentially the sports year gets restarted in about September, October timeframe. NFL, NBA coming back, things of that nature. So we definitely want to thank you guys for that. Now, as far as today, sports updates goes, I mean, it's really not it's not too much to talk about. We're gonna keep it very simple. Like I said, I'm not even gonna do an intro today. We're gonna keep it very nice and short. Obviously, we saw the Lakers get swept. Let's keep it. Let's get cut straight to the chase. The Lakers got swept after I watched for a good week of most of you guys saying Lakers in 6. And the truth is most of you guys were saying Lakers in 6, despite the Nuggets being the number 1 seed in the Western Conference and having one of the best records in the NBA. I think there was a time where they did have the best record in the NBA. So, they were highly disrespected. Obviously, the Lakers had a strong late season push. They were a 7th seed, and I don't think anybody saw them. I didn't think they're going to make the playoffs, and they were able to make the play in and win in the play in. Excuse me, I'm sweating profusely. But they were able to win in the play in and obviously end up in the Western Conference Finals. So got to give them their respect for that. LeBron James, 38 years old, goes out, even though they get eliminated, they get swept. He goes out with 40 points. So, he left it all out on the court. And you can tell even though he's an amazing, phenomenal player, you can tell that father time is starting to catch up with him. He can't do everything, which is why you kind of have to look at Anthony Davis and be like, damn, you're supposed to be this superstar guy in your prime. I mean, Anthony Davis is like my age, maybe even younger than me. I'm 31. I think Anthony Davis is about 30. And you have this 38-year-old man who is still essentially doing all the heavy lifting. So, kind of shame on AD, but I would say the bright spot for the Lakers is they have identified some young, strong foundational pieces moving forward. Rui Hachimura, who they got from Washington, Austin Reeves, who came out of nowhere and was an impact player for them. I want to say he was leading them in threes in this series, and Jared Vanderbilt, right, who was doing a really good job defensively for them. So they have some building blocks moving forward. I think for them is just figuring out what they're going to do with LeBron and Anthony Davis. I think one of them has to go. If I'm them, I would probably move off of Anthony Davis. Why? He still has some value. Maybe move him somewhere to the Eastern Conference, maybe somewhere like the Knicks, somewhere like the Celtics, where he's been rumored to go before. So I would look at getting another strong young piece, somebody that you can pair with LeBron. You're probably not going to get a dominant big like AD, but maybe you can get a serviceable big and then maybe get a strong or a really talented young guard or a really talented young wing to pair with LeBron. That's what I would look at for the Lakers moving forward. But hey, like I said, strong late season push for a team that wasn't very good at the beginning of the season. Now, as far as Denver, I'll say this. I've been predicting this, and I don't fancy myself just the biggest basketball aficionado around, but I told Swan this. I said, man, I looked at how they lost against the Warriors who won the championship last year, and it wasn't convincing losses. It was just the Warriors were just a little bit better, a little bit more talented. And Jokic didn't have his number 2 and 3 options. Now you have Jamal Murray, who's been gone most of the last 2 years, and he is really starting to come back into his own. I mean, he led them in this series. He averaged 32.5 points per game. Like, he is kind of he's kind of getting right back on track of where he was before he got hurt. Whereas people like, man, Jamal Murray could be like, I don't want to say a superstar, but he could be a really good star. Like, he can be one of the top guards in the NBA. And now we're starting to kind of see that coming to fruition. And Jokic is just amazing. He's the best player. I'm not, obviously he's not athletic. Me and Swan joke about it all the time. He can't jump over a phone book, but he's so skilled, and it's almost like he's unstoppable. Jordan Lewis, the nickel corner for the Dallas Cowboys, tweeted this, and I had to laugh at this. He said, man, the way Jokic plays, he can do this for another 30 years. He said the only thing that's going to stop him is diabetes. And man, that was funny to me, because the truth is his game is not predicated on any type of athleticism. It's really all skill. And I think that frustrates people. That's one thing I will call people out about. I am getting so tired of seeing people whine about Jokic. Like, it's almost like they're pissed that he's this good. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with an individual, and he was like, I don't like the way it looks because he's not athletic. He shouldn't be this good. Well, he is. Accept it. He's not jumping out the gym. He's not fast. He's not running across the floor, but he's just this slow, unathletic, but he's skilled. He'll work your ass out in the post. He can shoot the 3 ball, right? And he's the best passing big man that we've seen in the history of this game. And right now, that's a recipe with the roster that they have around him. That's a recipe for success. And don't be surprised if this is the year that Denver finally wins a championship. Granted, Miami and Boston are playing tonight. I expect Miami to go ahead and close that thing out and get Boston up out of there. And Miami will be a tough test, I think, just because of the hustle players that they have in Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Buckets, and Eric Spoelstra is just an out of this world coach. Probably one of the more underrated coaches over the past few years. We're really starting to see his greatness and what he can do with less. But yeah, Denver is fun to watch. They are extremely fun to watch. They shoot well. They're patient. They're not a great defensive team, but it's like nothing rattles them. They kind of have some. I think they're like a fun mix of like the San Antonio Spurs and like the Golden State Warriors, shooting wise, at least. So it's going to be fun to see this team. Like I said, I felt like you give Jokic just a little bit of help, and that's literally all he's getting. It's just a little bit more help. And now he's in the finals and possibly looking at winning his first ring, which would be fun, because I remember when Milwaukee, when Giannis won his ring, and I've never seen so many basketball fans pissed. They were like, oh, I hate the way Giannis plays. It's like NBA fans, it's like if guys don't play the way you want them to play, you don't want them to win a championship. And especially if they're not a sexy player, like the way that they play, maybe they don't shoot a lot. And it's in Milwaukee wasn't a sexy team. So when they won, guys were visibly upset about that. So to each his own. You guys just got to deal with it. But as far as Miami and Boston goes, I think that we're seeing Boston. I talked to my good friend Kevin last night. We were talking about this, and Boston is just, that bill has come due for them moving on from Ime Udoka. Regardless of the mistakes that he made, which to me, in the grand scheme of things, granted, I don't know all the details, but stuff like that happens night and day, especially in the NBA. But in the world, I was in the military and I've seen a lot. Look, and I've seen some pretty crazy things. But you moved on from an emerging top head coach in the league and a guy who's developed under some great coaches to get to that level to where he understands the game at a very high level. And you moved on from him with championship pieces in place, and now you're kind of seeing what that looks like. Boston's not a worse team than Miami. Boston has worse coaching than Miami. That's why they're losing. And Miami's just a tough as nails team. But you're seeing Joe Mazzulla really struggle. Eric Spoelstra is running circles around him right now. So that's why you're seeing Boston kind of get whooped on, and expect them to go ahead and blow this thing up if they lose, especially if they get embarrassed tonight. If they get embarrassed, I fully expect them to go ahead and blow that roster up. They've been next man up. They've been the new kids on the block for the last 5 years. And it just, even when they had Brad Stevens at head coach before they made that crazy move and he moved up into the office. I've never seen that before, but another story for another day. But now it's time to go ahead and blow that thing up and expect Jaylen Brown to probably go to another team, and he wants to become his own number one option. And now Jason Tatum's gonna be his show. And for the first time in his career, probably next year, he's gonna have to carry that load and really be the guy. He's not going to be able to take nights off like he was able to. There's some nights where Jason Tatum's not on and Jaylen Brown is the guy. So that dynamic's probably going to change moving forward. But it was fun watching this Boston team for the last 4 to 5 years. So that's going to be our finals. I'm going to go ahead and just lay it out there. It's going to be Miami and Denver. And it's going to be a very physical, well-played, well-coached championship series. Now, as far as NFL updates go, obviously we're moving into OTAs, and we're getting a good idea and seeing some of these rookies play. The main, I would say, the hot topic for the NFL is the recent rule changes, which one is not so serious and one is serious. You had the third QB rule, which Detroit actually proposed it. Not a lot of people would think it was San Fran. They're trying to call it the Brock Purdy rule, which it kind of is. But it was actually Detroit that proposed it, and it wound up getting passed. So basically now, come game day, NFL teams can carry a third quarterback, and they won't count against the game day roster. But from my understanding, it can't be from. I'm still kind of getting the gist of everything, but I don't know. They said it can't be somebody off of their practice squad. I don't know how they're going to work that, but basically we don't want, I guess from a competition standpoint, we don't want to see what we saw in the NFC Championship where San Francisco lost all 3 of their quarterbacks and you had Christian McCaffrey warming up at quarterback. So I guess for the betterment of the game, they said, okay, now we'll allow you guys a third quarterback and it won't count against the game day roster. So that is the new rule. The Brock Purdy rule. We'll see how that one works out coming into the new season. At least we'll see some guys that they know they're never probably going to play, but we'll see some third string quarterbacks get some money. They'll be on the game day roster. They're smiling. They're happy. So good for them. The other rule is now they have the fair catch rule, which on kickoff, if you fair catch on kickoff, you will now start on the 25-yard line. So this one is probably going to be very impactful. A lot of special teams coordinators push back against it because they knew it would kind of minimize kick returns of what we've seen. Because at first, obviously we had some changes already to how they do the kickoff. I think they moved the ball up. They moved it up. Was it 10 yards? They did it about 4 to 5 years ago, somewhere up in there, and that even changed kickoff. But now that we've adjusted to that and we've started to see kickoffs rise in recent years, now we have this change. So teams are going to be like, oh, just fair catch the ball. We're going to start on our 25-yard line, not our 20-yard line. We're going to start on our 25-yard line, and that is substantial. Well, would it be 20 yards if it's a touchback or they catch it in the end zone, whatever, but that is very, very substantial. 5 yards is big. So you'll see teams kind of play it safe. And from my understanding, a lot of coaches weren't big fans of that. I want to say it was Andy Reid who said, what more you guys are going to change? If you guys keep changing this thing, it's going to be flag football soon. So, a lot of pushback from great coaches that were like, this is just too much. So we'll see how that plays out during the season. I know Green Bay's kicker, I forget the guy's name, but he kind of scoffed at it like, who's fair catching? So I guess he still plans on fielding it and trying to take one to the house. But just be prepared to see teams play it safe coming into the 2023 season when it comes to kickoffs. But yeah, pretty simple. There's not too many updates right now, especially NFL wise. But we got the NBA finals upon us, and we're starting to get in really into the NFL offseason program. OTAs, we'll have mini camp here pretty soon, and shit, before you know it, we'll be in July and there'll be training camp, which I love training camp, because then we start looking at these young guys stepping up. You start seeing guys free agents that you thought was going to make the roster, and then they get cut. We see that a lot. You start seeing big injuries arise, and now teams got to pivot and go to somebody else. So training camp gets pretty interesting. So just look out for that. That'll be coming here pretty soon. And then obviously we got baseball, and hockey's coming to a close. I want to say Vegas Knights are doing pretty good right now. I'm trying to become more of a hockey fan, so just work with me, guys. But yeah, that is pretty much it. I just wanted to keep it nice and quick with you guys today. Really give you guys some updates and just show you guys where we're at as far as in the building process with Rooted in Sports. We really want this to continue to progress into something that not only we are proud of, but you guys are proud of, because you guys as the fans and as the consumers, you guys are a big part of, you guys are the reason why we do this. If we want to talk sports, I can just call Swan. We can just talk on the phone for 2 to 3 hours, but we want to give you guys a great product. So once again, look out for polls, look out for questions. We'll be putting some of that stuff out in social media here in the coming weeks. And just please give us feedback, and comment on a video. Hop on Rooted in Sports YouTube page and tell us what you guys think. Comment on some of the videos. Just or shoot us a message. It doesn't matter. But really give us an idea of some of the things that you guys would like to see moving forward, and we'll make sure to implement that as we're going through this upgrade process. But that's it for today. If you guys ever want to talk, or if you guys, please check us out on YouTube. So please subscribe, and check us out on Instagram. Right, we have Rooted in Sports on Instagram, and on we also have our own personal pages, and mine's is Tiberius 519, and his, and I always forget it, so it is iSwan _0623. Right, if you want to reach Swan directly. And then also, you guys always check me. You guys know I'm split. I'm doing the Sports Exclusive podcast too, which is doing pretty good. And you hop on the Sports Exclusive podcast. We have an IG page, and we release episodes for the Sports Exclusive podcast every single Wednesday. Right, we just released the episode on false allegations against athletes, right, in light of Matt Ariza and his whole situation and how he was exonerated. So check it out, and please give me some feedback on that. But outside of that, you guys, I have enjoyed a few minutes talking sports with you guys. I hope you guys had a great week, and I hope you guys have an even better weekend. We have Memorial Day coming up, so I hope you guys barbecue and spend some extra time with the family. Don't get too drunk, and be ready to come to work on Tuesday, and then be ready to talk some sports with us again on Thursday. Swan should be back. He had to take care of some personal business, so wasn't able to make it tonight. But we will see you guys next Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Right, that'll be 7:30 Central, and then Eastern it'll be 8:30. So we will see you guys Rooted in Sports live next Thursday. You guys have a good night.